All right, well, welcome back to the channel. I was hoping we'd have a nice sunny day for this video, but I got to take what I can get. It's almost Thanksgiving, so it's November weather. I'm going to do something that, let's back up a little bit. Last video, if you watched the last video, I took down a tree that was right over there. And I said, well, it's leaning towards the barn, and it was leaning towards the barn, but I had a ulterior motive for also taking it down. Now, and the ulterior motive is that right here, I've decided I'm going to try my hand at building a solar kiln. I want to do something that I can just set it up, put wood in it, and forget about it. Basically, as long as it dries the wood faster than air drying, and that to a lower moisture content. I'm not in a production kind of a situation where I have to have a dehumidification kiln or a vacuum kiln or anything like that. I'm just doing it small lots for myself and for my shop. So a solar kiln, apparently from what I've been watching on other people's videos, is kind of a set it and forget it. It's not as fast, but it achieves a similar result in a shorter time than air drying. So, and we'll get the wood down to a lower moisture content. So that's kind of the goal. I'm going to build it right here. I've looked around at where might be a good spot, and that this seems to be it. It gets good sun all day long, even, you know, we're almost at the shortest day of the year, which is sort of sunlight day of the year, which is next about a month away, and this still gets considerable sunlight all day long. So I started by bringing, last night I brought in some more dirt here because there's some holes, but I am going to go get the excavator right now and and take that pine stump. Let's get you closer. I'm going to take this pine stump out and clean out some of the stuff that's coming up. I don't want to get back. I don't want to get to that hemlock tree. I just want to get some of this stuff here out and smooth this up. And it's not the best spot because I don't have complete access behind it to load it with the forks, but that may happen in the future. And so looking around, this seems like the best spot at the moment. And now that big tree's down, I am guaranteed it's not going to land on the corner of it. So let me go get the excavator, see if it'll start, and get it over here, and we'll start in on this project. Oh, and if it's been suggested to me that I should say at the beginning of the video, if you like the stuff, subscribe. We're only like 70 subscribers away to getting to 1,000. So, you know, tell your friends, spread the word. Hopefully we'll get to that magic 1,000 subscribers. All right, let me go get the excavator. Well, the excavator actually has a leak in it. I don't have time to mess with it. So I did what I saw oil on the tracks. I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I think it's just a line, hydraulic line going to the oil cooler, but I don't have time to deal with it right now. What I really wanted to do was get that stump out of here. And now I can use the tractor. I'm gonna put the grapple on and get rid of this pile here and go get some more dirt and fill this in and kind of level this up. And then we'll start laying out the exact location for the building. It's gonna be 8 feet by 16 feet because that's just the material I've got on hand. And I don't plan on trying to dry 16-foot stuff. Probably the longest stuff I'll dry would be like 12 feet. I don't think I can. We'll see. I'm just going to make the building, and whatever fits in, fits in. That's why I own a chainsaw. Cut the ends off. All right, here's a quick update. We've been in a funny weather pattern where every third day it seems like we're getting an inch of rain. So I came out couple of days ago. This has been a while since I last filmed here. I came out and I staked out, you can see the orange, the sticks with the orange flagging. That's 16 by 8, and I actually decided I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so to give the roof a little bit of an overhang. What is it? The roofing material is 4 feet wide, so it's going to be end up being exactly 16 feet, and I want the building a little smaller so we have some overhang. So you see I brought my aluminum straight edge up and I built these little pads, and I put some concrete blocks out here, and that's really as far as I've gotten. They're not in the exact right spot, but it's been every time it rains, the next day the ground freezes. So I thought I'd at least try to get the foundation started before the ground really froze, and then I can't do anything. All right, good morning. It's cool. It's the 4th of December, and I got a few hours to work on the kiln project. So I'll show you what the plan is this morning. I've got these 3 beams, which are actually leftover beams from the barn build. They weren't the high enough quality, so they got set aside, but I'm going to use those, cut them to 7 feet and put them across these cinder blocks. And I took time this morning and I got this all square. It's 15 by 7, and you can see I've got some rubber here which I'm going to put on top of the blocks, keep the moisture from wicking up from the ground up into the beams. And so that thing is all set. It's all level and square. I've got the beams to do it, to put across, and I'm going to be using leftovers from the temporary sawmill shed. I put those beams away. I'm thinking, oh, I got to find a project for them, and I think this is going to be the project that they get recycled in. And so in a previous video I resawed a bunch of old 6x6s and stuff from the pile and turned them into this stock here, and these are some of the beams from the sawmill shed. I'm going to be using those. This is the other pile of stuff from the sawmill shed, and there's a couple of 20-foot 8x8s. I'm going to be using those, and there are already some braces made. I'm going to recycle those. I'm going to pull all the pegs out of here and try to recycle them and try to use up as much of that pile as I can. So that's the goal this morning, is to get started on the floor of the kiln. I got the wrong saw, but I may do. Come on. All right, that's all the beams in place. Come on over here. Try to avoid the mud here. Well, I restacked this wood this fall, thinking, what am I ever going to do with this stuff? But there's a whole pile of 2x6s right here, and that's exactly what I'm going to use for the floor joists. And I'll just pick through them and get straight ones, and we'll put them, we'll make a floor, the floor system with it. All right, there are 16 2x6s, and these two on the end, these are going to be the those will be the band joists. I've got so many, I'm going to do 1 foot on centers, and why not? It's only one extra floor joist. So when I come back from taking a break, I'll cut these to 7 feet, and excuse me, I'll cut them to 90 inches, and I'll do a layout, and I'm not sure if I'll get to installing them today or not, so stick around. All right, there are the floor joists, and of course nothing's nailed in. And 1-inch board is going to be the band that goes on both ends, and you can see they're not all on their layout at the moment, but it doesn't matter. This is just, I got this far. The next step is I'm going to nail all this down, and then I'm going to cut the flooring to go on top. And I'm going to put most of the flooring down because I'm going to start working on the beam, the post and beam that goes across this thing to support the roof. And that's coming out of the old sawmill shed. So I think that's it for today. I've got other things going on. I try to get back to this in a couple days and keep working on it. All right, stick around. All right, you notice anything different? I thought it was too high, and so I replaced the 8-inch blocks with 4-inch blocks. I don't really want to lower it down onto another 4 inches. I'd rather have it off the ground a little bit. So anyways, it's 4 inches lower, which I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but you know, in my infinite wisdom, that's what I decided. I'm gonna come back out, and next step is to start nailing it down. And I bought, people probably think I'm crazy, but I bought 50-pound box of 16 common galvanized, and people at the lumber yard looked at me like I was crazy, but I actually don't mind every once in a while hand nailing stuff together. You don't have to carry a cord or listen to the compressor, and I think the nails are cheaper. Anyways, I'm gonna hand nail this framing together, but I'll probably use the gun nails for the deck, because yeah, there's a pile of them. I'll just get it done quick. Well, it didn't take that long, and I actually don't mind a small job like this, nailing this stuff by hand. When I went to the lumber yard and bought nails, they said, "You must be an old timer. Only people who do restoration and old carpenters buy hand nails." They go, "Oh, we've got one box left." I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah, I guess everybody has been weaned off of this onto nail guns, but you know, you can't hear the nail guns. You can't hear the wind blowing and the birds chirping with the nail guns running and the compressor. So this is actually kind of nice every once in a while to just nail stuff together with a hammer and real nails. All right, I am going to go scrounge around and get some 1-inch boards to lay on here, and I will use the nail gun to nail those off. It's just so much faster, but if I can just get them the boards out here today, that'd be great, and I can explain the next step when I get to that point. All right, wind's blowing, and take advantage of the nice sunny day. I think that's the end of this video. This chapter in the kiln, excuse me, in the wood kiln build. I don't know, can you see me? I think that's the end of this chapter for the wood kiln build, part 1. What's going to happen in the upcoming video is there's going to be, I'm going to work on the post and beam that are going to support the roof. And on top of this stuff there's 2 inches of, there's going to be a 2x4 wrapped around the outside, 2 inches of styrofoam, and then another layer of 1-inch boards, and that'll be the finished floor. So I think that's coming up on the next video, so stick around.